There you go. And how do I make? Oh, it's in the manage participants. O Martinez, make co-host. So Omar, I don't know if you've been exploring the ability to control the mouse, but I find that super helpful working with a student. So it's just like you're hands-on in the classroom, but totally sterile and safe. All right, Gabriel.
I'm coming in and out.
You're coming in and out?
You are.
I am.
I'm here.
All right, Gabriel, let's take a look. So you've got redid your letterhead, envelope, business card. It all has a nice branded look. One thing that's definitely an issue, you can't have dark colored envelope and letterhead because somebody would have to print in white on this letterhead, which is something that's kind of impossible. So you got to come up with a version that has light color.
Okay.
Envelope, you could do this, but then they'd have to put a white sticker every time they put the address on. You understand the logistics of that, right? Gabriel?
Yeah.
Am I cutting in and out? Package design.
A little bit.
All right, let me make sure. These are really, if you look at these headphones, look, duct tape. All right. Nice photo. You're sticking to this geometric thing, but it's minimal, so it kind of works. I think the Ankh pattern works. The thing is with putting the pattern on the top pieces like this, so these lay down across each other on the top. So one of them is they're gonna be upside down from each other, if you can figure that out. So this top will be laying over on top of this part here of this one, and this top of this one will go to this part. So maybe you flip one of them around or turn them sideways. I'd say turn them sideways. So there's 1, 2, 3. I like the topography thing. I think that works the best. I like that much better than this geometric thing, this thing. It kind of looks like the desert topography or something. But I also like the Ankhs. So maybe a combination of those two. What do you think, Omar?
I don't have control, do I?
Yeah, ask for mouse control. Approve. You got it.
I guess this is becoming just too busy. Like if you're going to use it somewhere like this, it should be a little bit more muted. I think with the contrast and colors, it's just popping out too much. So I think you're successful in doing where I find that this is more successful. Maybe even if you wanted those symbols there, you maybe make them that dark color.
Like dark on dark.
Yeah, like a darker purple on, or darker violet on violet. But I'm digging this one. I just think the other ones are just too much covering.
Yeah, I like the Ankh because it relates back to the Egypt thing. I think it means life. It's like the symbol of life.
It's life and death, yeah.
Yes, I would play with that mark here, but at a real light opacity and make it violet on violet, a monochromatic version of it.
Okay.
Good job.
And then even here, I think a couple of them can play around with the way you use it here. The only thing I don't like is I'd rather see the full, like I'm not sure why it's ripping like that.
Yeah,
Either
I
show
just
it to me
noticed that.
or don't show it to me. I'd rather than you cutting it up like that, because now I'm trying to find out what's defining that shape. And I understand you're using this same clipping mask just with this pattern, but
Yeah.
what I would do is make it so it finishes these shapes.
Okay.
All right.
Where did you get the topography line thing?
I found it in Adobe Stock.
Awesome. Good use of Adobe Stock for that. Is it like, what do they call it? What is it? Like wood grain or?
No, I literally looked for patterns and just found as many as I could, and I like that one the best.
Good job. All right.
Is a final markup in there too?
Ta-da!
Yes.
All right, so you went with this one.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
one
Yeah,
that you
I
said.
like that.
It works the best. Just put your meaning of life over here and just have it really violet
Subtle.
on violet.
Yeah, subtle. And
Yep.
and then what is the scene in which this sits? That would
I was
be
thinking maybe the desert
the desert. Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
and add some like moisture and stuff.
Yeah, maybe some soft focus pyramids in the distant background.
Yeah, sure, sounds good.
Well, your perspective, you're kind of set with the perspective here. So it's kind of a high angle perspective. So if you really wanted to have distant background, you'd have to make it like more like a tabletop so that you could drop off. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Good job.
Thank you.
All right, Omar, you're still in charge. Go to the next one. Dylan.
Where's
Oh.
coffee?
So the first slide, I redid the color palette like we talked about. I added some more.
Subtle, yeah, a little more variation in value.
Yeah.
But your signature red suddenly became sort of a dark muted red. I don't. Is that like is there an opacity thing going on there? Or?
Oh, no, that was just the darker red in my palette. I didn't.
Because you
I
hate
wanted
the
to
main
use-
red.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Well, you got to make sure and use that assigned red. That's part of the challenge, is that 032 red.
What's this square here?
It's like a character defaulting or something.
Yeah, and then making them doors and coffee the same size, it just takes away from everything. Like doors should stand out more than coffee. And right now coffee's longer than it. So coffee should get a little bit smaller. And even if you can, maybe if that font has a large family, make it like a regular or a thin compared to doors.
Okay.
Every time I see your icon, it's a different color. That's
Yeah.
a bad thing. And this icon and this icon are totally different.
The hammer looks different. It's got different parts highlighted. All right, so Dylan, when you look at all these pieces together, you want to get this sense of this cohesive look and feel, right?
Yeah.
The only element you're using really for branding is your logo, and then you're using sort of swaths of color, but it's sort of like a different mix of color each time. So it's not really coming together. If you got to sort of figure out what's the visual language of this, like what's your style guide, because if you have another element, like another graphic element or a pattern, or even its texture like stone or wood or something like that in the background, it would help sort of tie it all together.
我们有哪搜？你要
I think we just lost somebody. All right.
All right. So this is fun and it's something you could play with, but we don't know who your brand is yet, and you haven't established your brand yet. So right now, you don't even have your logo lockup anywhere on this package. Right? You would get the lightning bolt, then I get a portion of it, and then all this stuff has to align to this. So when this assembles, this is crooked.
Right. And the name of the blend or the variety would be in the hierarchy, it would come down a bit. Right now, that's almost like your logo. It's really bold, strong type, and it's the only thing there. There's no full-on logo. So make your logo the hero, and then the other stuff can be there, but it can be secondary, lighter font, smaller. It could be at the top where the lightning bolt is.
Let's see the other ones. All right, so
You like that one? That one's done. I like numbers 2 and 3.
I mean, Dylan, I think there's good design here. There's a lot of good elements that I like here. You're playing around with this clean style, and it's cool. It really doesn't say Thor's Coffee per se.
Yeah.
There's no feeling of Thor here. You know, this feels like, you know, IKEA
Okay.
right now. And you're taking away the power of your font by using it on everything. And now there's no hero, there's no big moment for Thor. All right. And if you really want to use this font, then you have to change the font of Thor's Coffee.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
you want your logo type to be
like,
different than the rest
layout,
of the
this is good. This is really good here. Even this flow with the typography here, even your type effect here, the way this flows nice, and you know, there's a lot of good things going on. But the one thing you're missing is you're not establishing your brand, and it's inconsistent throughout. So you have to establish your brand, your logo, what it is, and then bring that to your packaging design. And right now there's good elements here, but I don't know who you are.
Gotcha. All right.
And then for everybody, like if you have this template or any of the templates, anytime you're folding in like these elements right here, don't switch the color on this. If this is the cyan, make this a cyan, that teal color, right? If this is red, make this red. All right, over here, like you don't need to change these colors. So I would just leave that red. And these flaps are done well, correctly as well. Whatever color's going in here, just have it bleed into the fold. Don't go switching the fold colors, all right? Because in real life, if you were printing this out and putting it together, if it doesn't fold correctly, you're gonna have a weird line coming out. Okay? And another thing for everybody, right now, you're cropping the canvas of how this is all set up. Try to make this fill this box. No white borders.
Salty dog. This color palette's working really well, Lucas. It's got a good variety. Now that you added sort of the darker brown color, I think that really helps it. That used to be black in your logo. Now it has so much more life. I like the little wave pattern. The illustration of the sea salt caramel is really good. I'm assuming you did that yourself. Is he here? Lucas? No. Great. All that great praise for nothing. All right. Well, let's keep going because we're recording this. So.
All right. Well, Lucas, when you do hear this, these stripes, put the stripes on this lid so it's going over. Make sure it lines up because right now you're going to have this weird brown lid going over this, creating a weird contrast. I like the color palette. The sky blue is kind of muting everything down. The sky blue is muddying it up. So either go with a darker color or a lighter color. Right now, you're just kind of camouflaging what you got going on here. And again, the cyan, whatever color this background is, make it bleed to this lid. Whatever color this is, make it bleed to the lid. One design.
Yeah, good one, but we need to see 3 options. But everyone had no trouble with the 3D mock-up.
It's a present.
Yeah.
All right, so on to the next one.
Spencer.
So just different variations of the mock-up.
They did a business card, letterhead, and envelope. I don't know if you'd rather look at that one.
So you redid those? Mm-hmm.
The packages are still the same, but I just included the other stuff.
Right. These look a little blurry, like maybe your file isn't connected in InDesign when you made the PDF. I kind of like this like white area, but I feel like something should be in there. I don't know.
Chance to finish.
It looks
whatever
like
I want to include, what it is.
Yeah. Pictures of the cookie. Yeah, it just feels empty a little bit. I don't know. I kind of like this one. I think that it could have more information. You need to have your net weight on the front. You need a descriptor line. What are these cookies? What makes them special? The fact that you broke up a lockup like this, have the type down there, feels a bit awkward. I mean, I do like the way you've designed the panel, looks really good, but it doesn't have all the information you need. So now you have to add a descriptor line and net weight at least to get it correct. I think the color palette's working well. Even the white seems to work, so.
Yeah, I would maybe pick a different tone of blue for the background so that way you can still see the overall shape. I like what's going on here, but it just doesn't feel like your primary display panel. I feel like this is something that'd be going on the side or on the back. It doesn't feel like the front of your packaging. Nutrition label, put that on the back. Barcode, put that on the back. For your mock-up, we don't want to see that. I would try to get your lockup in here and show me some cookies.
Yeah.
I really like what's going on here. It's not your primary, because we don't know who your brand is yet. So you got to establish your brand before you can do this stuff. So establish your brand in your primary display panel, and then on the sides, you could play around with the spaceship and doing all the white clouds coming across here. So doing this on the sides, I think would be great. And maybe put like some typography in here and say something. Like the spaceship was blasting off, and put some type in there. But I think having your lockup together, having Tama cookies and the icon together, maybe showing me some cookies would be your best bet. Net weight and a descriptive. What kind of cookies are there? I know there's spicy jelly cookies. So give me a description of what I'm buying, because right now I have no idea what I'm buying.
Okay.
All right, and then the mock-up is for the last. You want to show a mock-up of your final one. We want to see the flattened layout package design. 3 of those would be the goal.
All right, that's all we got. Who did not get a critique? Who wants one? I'm going to stop the recording.